Hey everyone, it's NHL Hockey Sports, and we're back on the video. Yes, we are. Today we are talking about some news of the day. We have some from yesterday and the other day, but just to kind of wrap up from today and yesterday, what we have some news out here. We have from the Ducks, the Sabres, Kraken, Wings, Hawks, Coyotes, and the Knights. So we can get into all this stuff. Make sure you like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. And let's get into the first team. Talking about the Anaheim Ducks. Now they have hired Pat Verbeek officially as the GM for the Ducks. This is a great move for them because, of course, he was in Tampa, or before that even, he was a player in the NHL, which for number of years always hard-nosed the net, always doing that stuff, getting to the net. And then became an executive, and he did that with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Steve Yzerman was the GM. He was the assistant GM, and he learned under Steve Yzerman, which is just great to have, the experience he brings. So, learning all that experience in Tampa, and then learning it, and also the Red Wings, is great to have that too. So, good for Pat Verbeek to have all that experience from Stevie Y, and now get to use this knowledge that he's gotten, and experience he has gotten from his time as an executive with both of those teams, and brings it to the Ducks because, you look at the Ducks, they are in the playoffs right now, second in the Western Conference. It's been a very amazing season for them. Not many people thought they would be here where they are right now. People thought they would get better. Obviously, they've been a rebuild for the last 3 or so years. But they have been a team that really have taken that next step even higher. Actually, Netherlands third in the Pacific, but that's okay. They're actually tied with LA. So they're basically tied for second with LA. Of course, the Kings have a game in hand over the Ducks, but that really doesn't matter. We'll see what happens, right? The Ducks, this have been impressive. Even if they don't make the playoffs, what if they fall out of the playoffs? I'm just going to say this. They've been impressive. They really have. Between Zegras and just alone, Zegras has just been amazing. The team just has been solid. So it's just been great for them. They're right now in 48 games, 23, 16, and 9 with 55 points. Just really solid. So, we'll see what happens. One of the guys on the board I put up there, that Josh Manson, there's interest from the Leafs. There's always been interest there, but lately I guess there's some interest there. Very interesting about that. Which, this is the most. If you were to trade Manson now, he's a UFA this summer, this is the most you ever get for Manson in his career. That's the most you're ever going to get for him. Just to say. So, we'll see what happens. And it's not just Manson who's a UFA. You have some other guys who, do you want to trade at the deadline, or do you want to keep? Do you want to add? And Pat Verbeek has these ideas he's going to have to think of, or have a plan, I should say, to think of. You have Hampus Lindholm. Someone's going to want him. Hampus Lindholm, if they don't want to keep him. Someone will give him a good package for that. You also have, let's see, we also have Ricardo Kell. Hasn't been the best in the last 2-3 years to what he usually is, but he is a guy who might get you at least, maybe, I don't know, first round pick anymore, maybe a second round pick in the prospect. You have some guys yet to sign there. So we'll see what happens, but Pat Verbeek does have his hands full during this time and toward the trade deadline for sure. Moving on to now the Buffalo Sabres. Just a little minor news, quick news, that Michael Houser has cleared. A couple of days ago this happened. I'm glad he didn't get picked up because, this has kind of been a good story for the Sabres with Michael Houser. This is the most he'll ever get a chance. If someone picked him up, let's say, for example, I don't know, I'm going to pick the Hawks, but let's just pick the Hawks. And he plays a couple games and then gets sent down in the minors, and maybe no one picks him up again. He might stay there for a long time. On the other hand, the Sabres would probably call him back up. So, we'll see what happens, but Michael Houser, it's been a good story for the Sabres. I don't want to lose that story, right? So, for sure. Alright, moving on now to the Seattle. We have a couple things out there. from the other night, but Jason Botterill was actually a finalist for the Ducks GM job. Of course, Patrick Beek, like we said, got the job, but officially they said that Botterill was a guy who was out there for the job, and he was a finalist. So, trying to get a second chance of a different team. Of course, he was with the Sabres. Things didn't go his way. I thought he made solid trades. Those some trades that, were like, okay, question mark there. But you know what? It's the Sabres. Give him another chance. He's learning, and he learns a lot, I feel like, from that, and, how to change, and what to do differently. I think it's better for him, but we'll see if he gets a job somewhere else. I doubt the Hawks now, but there could be a chance he could interview at least with them or talk with them. There could be another team out there soon that could fire the GM. So we'll see what happens. But Bottle is, right now just gonna stay the assistant as to Ron Francis for the Kraken. And also, good for Grubauer here. He got his first shutout as a Kraken, Starting the season was not good for him. As of late, he's kind of going back to what he's known for, being a solid goalie. 6 years on a $5.9 million contract, you can't really buy that out. For you can, but why would you want to do that to your expansion team, But Grubauer getting his first shutout, congrats to him for sure, for able to do that, right? Alright, moving on to now the Red Wings. The Red Wings, of course, kind of linked this all kind of, the Ducks, the Kraken, and the Rings are all kind of combined here, right? Kind of interwoven here. So since Patrick Beek has become the official GM of the Ducks, Stevie Y needs a new assistant GM, and he has made Sean Horkoff name him as assistant GM. Of course, he was a player for many years in the NHL. Lately, he's been the executive here. I believe he was with the Grand Rapids Griffins for the Wings AHL team. He was the GM for them. I believe he's going to stay the GM of the Grand Rapids and also be the assistant GM of the Red Wings with Stevie Y. So, very interesting how that's going to be. Sean Horkoff has done good here. He's really been learning experience for sure. So, good for him to get this next level in his career. Not just playing career, but now his executive career next, right? Alright, moving on to the Hawks here. They have interviewed Peter Chiarelli. That's interesting because he's probably one of the worst GMs you're ever going to hear in NHL history. He just made some awful trades for the Oilers through the years. Awful trades. Like, I'm talking about awful. We know, they are awful. The Taylor Hall trade, the Strome and Spooner, and it just, just things that have gone terribly wrong for them. Just to name a few. There's more out there, we know. But Chiarelli, just, why would you want him? There's another guy out there. He actually is, by the way, he is assistant GM to the Carolina Hurricanes. Forgot his name. Let's see, I got it here somewhere. Eric Tousley. I think that's how you say his name. He actually is executive, up and coming, a bright future for him. So that might be an interesting one to go for than Peter Chiarelli. Another guy out there is Scott Mellanby, which is interesting. Scott Mellanby has had a long career in the NHL, and then also became assistant GM to the Montreal Canadiens with Marc Bergevin, when Marc Bergevin was part of the Montreal Canadiens. And yeah, so that's what it is. And just to put out there that, Scott Mellanby obviously wanted to become the Habs GM, but he didn't speak French, so there you go, it's not going to work out. And of course, they went the Gorton route and Hughes route, which was good for them, really good. So, Scott Mellenby would definitely be a good option. He has experience. He was with the Habs since 2012. He's been there for a long time. Bushman hired him in the first year he became a GM. So there you go. He has experience and could definitely get a job soon. Either that's the Hawks or a different team, right? Alright, moving on to the Arizona Coyotes. Johan Lawson undergoes surgery. He'll be out 8 weeks. I heard there was a little interest for Johan Lawson. A guy that is a depth forward. Bottom 6, plays solid in your bottom 6. Of course, he probably signed with the Coyotes this year because you get a chance, to play, and he has shown it, right? But he's out 8 weeks. Hope the best for him, for sure. And lastly, for news with the Golden Knights, that Jack Eichel may be ready for contact after the All-Star break. So we'll see what happens. Of course, he had neck surgery. The Sabres obviously didn't want to deal with that, so they traded him. Long story short, traded him, right? But, of course, it came down to Vegas and Calgary with the two teams that would accept his surgery. But, of course, Vegas was the one who got him. And, he was shooting the pucks in the right point in Vegas practice on the non-contact jersey. He looked really good from that. So, the Golden Knights need the first franchise center. And they're going to be having that. So, it's going to be interesting when he comes back, what happens to the team. They're going to have to trade someone. They're going to have to do something to change, because the cap structure is just going to be thrown off. We know that something's going to have to change. So we'll see what happens. Eichel coming back soon. People said maybe around the deadline. People said maybe just for the playoffs. But coming back a little bit earlier might hurt the Golden Knights. We'll see what happens. But hopefully the Jack Eichel works out for the Golden Knights. Obviously, he wants to be in the playoffs. Never been to the playoffs before. And the Golden Knights and Jack Eichel will have a chance to do that, right? So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching this NHL News Reports. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.